Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kim, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to connect your domain that was created in a domain registrar called GoDaddy to System.io, which is a funnel builder. So a domain is just a unique identifier for something that you want to create as a website. So it could be a .com or a .org or a .us. It is a unique registration that is only pertaining to you and to you only. Your domain is very special. So today, what I'm going to show you how to do is I'm going to show you how to connect that domain that you're going to create in GoDaddy to a funnel builder called System.io. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have both System.io and GoDaddy open on your desktop. This is going to work best on a desktop. I don't recommend that you try to do this on your phone. It's not going to work very well. So you want both of those programs open, both of those apps open. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to GoDaddy and you're going to create your domain. Now this video is not going to cover how to create a domain. That's a separate video. But what I am going to show you how to do is how to connect that domain to System.io. So let's get started. So I've already created a domain called kimmathietmedia.com. Now this is a parked domain, meaning that it has not been attached to any website at all at any time. It's not doing anything. So right now we are going to connect it to System.io so that we can start to build a funnel there and that we can get it out on the World Wide Web and make it live. So here's what we're going to do. Once you have your domain created, what you're going to do is you're going to go into GoDaddy and you're going to click Manage Domain. And then once you're here on this page, you're going to click DNS. Now, DNS stands for Domain Name Servers. Now, that's something you don't really have to know, but just know that this is the custom records for your domain. And there's several different types of records. So there are A records, there are CNAME records, I have a little list here. There are TXT records, but generally the ones you're going to be using the most are either going to be A, CNAME, or TXT. Most of the time you're going to be working with A or CNAME records. So CNAME stands for a canonical domain. You don't need to know that, but that's what it stands for. Most of the time you're just going to call it CNAME. So the reason why we want CNAME records is because when we go to System.io, we're going to be using our CNAME records to connect your domain that was created in GoDaddy to System.io. So we're going to get started here. Now, the other thing I'm going to show you how to do a little bit later is how to create a subdomain and also connect that to System.io. But that's a little bit more advanced, and I'll explain why you might want to use a subdomain. But first, let's just get your domain connected to System.io. So I'm going to go over now, and I'm going to go to System.io. I'm going to click on Settings. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Custom Domains. And I'm going to click Add Domain. So what I want to do is I want to type in my domain. And it's going to be, I want to type it in exactly as it is. Okay. Make sure it's good. And I'm going to click Save. Okay. And now it has added to my list of domains. Now you'll notice now in this little window you've got two lines. You've got this line here. You have some information here on the left and some information here on the right, and then you say CNAME here in the middle. That's what we were talking about. So what I want to do is I want to take each one of these lines of numbers and text and I want to put them into GoDaddy. And I'm going to show you exactly how you do that right now. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take this line here. Now I don't need this. I don't need this www.kimmathietmedia.com. That's already been created. But what I do want is this line of text and numbers right here. I want the whole thing. Now you can right click to copy it, or you can use your keyboard, Command C if you're working on a Mac, or Control C if you're working on a PC, or you can right click, however you're comfortable with. But now that I've copied it, I'm going to go over to GoDaddy and I'm going to add a record. So I already have clicked on add record. So now I'm going to click on type. That's going to be CNAME. Now our name is going to be www. Now I already have, let me cancel that. I already have a www already created. And I did that when I created my domain. It was already done for me. So I think what I'm going to do is just edit that one. Okay, so I already have the www. Now, instead of kimmatthey@media.com, I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to paste in the line of numbers and text that we just got from System.io. And now TTL, don't have to worry about that. That's time to launch. It can be 1 hour, I think, is the half hour is the default, and so it could take anywhere between 5 minutes to 24 hours. Usually can take up to an hour, but it's rare that it takes 24 hours. Usually if it's taking longer than 24 hours, there's something wrong. So I would say, 1 hour to 4 hours and you should be good to go. I think it normally takes about a half hour for me to get any of my domains authenticated. And I'm going to go ahead and click save there. Now I have two-factor authentication set up on my GoDaddy account, and so it's a little bit of annoying thing, but I know that my account is secure. Okay, so I'm going to type in my code here. Okay, and so that was successfully created. Now I'm going to go back to System.io, and now I'm going to add the second line of text. So I'm going to go down here to the second line, and on the left-hand side, I'm going to select the line of text. But instead of selecting the whole thing, I'm going to just select everything in front of the dot. Okay, just like that. So I don't need kimmatthey@media.com. I already have that, so I'm just going to select everything in front of the first dot. I'm going to copy that. Then I'm going to go back to GoDaddy, and now I'm going to add a new record. And this time it's going to be another CNAME record. And I'm going to paste that first line of text right there. Then I'm going to go back to System.io, and now this line of text on the right-hand side, on the second line, I'm going to select the whole thing, copy that, and then go back over to to GoDaddy, and I'm going to paste it in here. Set my TTL to 1/2 hour, and now I'm going to click save. Oh, I've already got that one in there. See, I had already done that earlier. So you see that it conflicts with another record, which I already have in there. So what I'm going to have to do is go down and delete this one. It was already in there. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that record. Okay, and so now it says it was created. So now that I've deleted it, we're going to have to do this again. So I'm just going to delete that and get rid of that. Put it back in there. Save it. It should be saved. Okay, so now we have both of those in there. So if I go back to System.io, let's close this. Now you can see that it is pending validation. Now it's not going to happen right away. It could be a half hour or so. But while that's going on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a subdomain. Now a subdomain is a domain that takes the place, actually it's a line of text that takes the place of the www. Now, why would we want to create a subdomain? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, you don't have to create a new domain. A subdomain acts as its own unique domain, which means you can attach it to any website. If you have, like I have, kimmatthey@.com, I could create a subdomain like courses, kimmatthey@.com, or kimmatthey@media.com, or I could create any number of things. So the nice thing about that, subdomains are free to create. They just attach to an existing domain that you don't have to change. And if you have a domain that you want to be something that is across all of your products, right? All of your products that you have, websites, blogs, funnels. If you want to have that same domain so that it's a unique identifier and so is your brand, then this is what I recommend. I recommend creating a subdomain so that it doesn't interfere with your brand, but also can be attached to any website or any funnel that you want, because it acts as its own unique identifier. So we're going to create a subdomain now. So let's go back to GoDaddy and let's create a new one. And actually, I'm going to delete this one because I already created it. So now I'm going to create a subdomain. So the way to create a subdomain is that we're going to add a new record and we're going to add an A record. So I'm going to type in, or I'm going to choose A, and let's call this Go. Okay, so this could be go.kimmatthew@media.com. A lot of people use Go. So I'm going to type in Go. Now what it's asking me to do is to find my IP address. This number here is my IP address. Now, I don't know what that is. Not for my kimmatthew@media.com. I probably could dig. GoDaddy makes it hard to find, but I have a really easy way to find it. And actually, this is a fun thing to do if you want to check to see if your domain is working. So we're going to go to a website called dnschecker.org. And so this is what it is right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in kimmatthew@media.com. You're going to be able to see that it is propagated throughout the entire world. And you can see that all these green checks mean that it's propagated throughout the world. Every server has accepted it and has passed it on. So we know that kimmatthew@media.com is working, and it should be ready to go when we come back to System.io. But the number that we want is this one right here, this number that starts with 3. That is the IP address for my domain. So I'm going to select that right here, and I'm going to copy it. And now I'm going to go back to GoDaddy, and I'm going to paste it in. And now I'm going to click Save. It's going to ask me to verify. Okay. Now I've created Go, all right, and we can see it right here, my new A record. But now here's what we're going to do. We are going to delete that. Okay, we are going to delete it, because now what we're going to do is we're going to add CNAME records that's going to point Go to System.io. So Go is going to be a domain, custom domain on System.io. So it'll be go.kimmatthew.com, and we're going to connect Go, or point it to System.io, so that GoDaddy knows that System.io is where we have our funnel that is going to be attached to that. So what I want to do now is I'm going to delete this that we just created. And I know this is confusing, but if I don't delete it, we're going to get an error message. In fact, I can show you exactly what I'm talking about, because we will get an error message if I go and create it as it is right now, because it's going to say you can't have a CNAME record and an A record with the same name. So we're going to go back over to System.io, and I'm going to click Settings. Let's see if it's done yet. Nope, still pending validation. But we're going to do this anyway. We're going to add a new domain. Now what we're going to add is the go.kimmatthew@media.com. Oops, OM. All right. We got that right. Make sure that it's typed in exactly the way we want it. I think I'm missing an I there. Yep, got it. All right, I'm going to click Save. Okay. Now, watch carefully. Now what we want to do is we want to take Go, all right, and we want to connect this line of text to our Go subdomain in GoDaddy. And I'm going to go back over here. Now watch what happens. We're going to get an error message, but I wanted to show you what happens when we do, because this is going to be a valuable lesson for you. So if this happens, you're going to know, oh, I made a mistake, I need to change this. So we're going to add a new record, and we're going to choose CNAME. I'm going to type Go in here, and then I'm going to put our line of text that's from System.io, and I'm going to click Save. And you see we have a problem here because it says record name Go conflicts with another record because it's conflicting with that A record. So I'm going to cancel that right now. Yes, cancel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and I'm going to delete this record that we just created. I know that sounds silly, but that's why we need to delete it, because if we don't, we have a C name and an A record with the same name, and we can't have that. We can't have nice things. All right, so now when we do this, we're going to add a new record. We're going to add C name. We're going to add Go. We're going to put our line of text in and click Save. And that first line is created. So now we're good. Now I'm going to go back over to System.io, and now I'm going to grab this second line of text here. Now, watch carefully. Now, before when we connected the domain, we connected everything in front of this line of text, correct? Now we're going to have to add Go because this is a new subdomain. It's taking the place of www. So instead of just doing everything in front of the first dot, I'm going to select everything in front of the second dot. Command C to copy, add new record. I'm going to choose a C name record. Name, I'm going to paste that in. And then I'm going to go back to System.io, and now I'm going to select all the numbers and text on the right. I want the whole thing this time. I'm going to go back and I'm going to paste that in. I'm going to click Save. And now it's created. Okay? So we just went through the process of setting up a subdomain and a domain. Now, what can go wrong? Well, you already saw that we had a record and a C name record of the same name. You can't have that. You may already have records in there that are identical, that are going to conflict. You can't have that. And every one of the domain registrars, like GoDaddy or Google Domains or Bluehost or Hostinger or whatever domain registrar you're using, they're all going to have different ways of doing this. The process itself or the way that it's done will be very similar or almost identical, but you do want to consult with each one of the help documents that are in each domain registrar, but for the most part, it's done the same way when you connect a domain to System.io. Now, if you're connecting it to something like ClickFunnels, to a funnel builder like ClickFunnels or Builderall, GrooveFunnels, any other funnel builder, they're also going to have their own process as well. They're going to have their own line of text that you're going to have to use. But one thing I want to show you before we end this video, I showed you DNS checker before. Let's go in and check to make sure now that go.kimmathieu@media is now completely populated. And now we want to change that to CNAME. And I'm going to click search. And now you can see that it is now propagated throughout the entire world. We have no red X's. That means everything's online. And we're good to go. Now, if we go back to System.io, I'm going to close this. Both of these are still pending validation. They're both still pending validation. Now, when we come back, I would say probably in about half hour or so, these should be good to go. And if you're not sure, you can just go ahead and keep refreshing this. But it generally does take about a half hour. As you can see, it was already propagated throughout the world. It's the System.io hasn't caught up to that yet. But when it's done, we're going to come back and we're going to see it. Okay, well, it's been about a half hour, and I just wanted to show you in System.io, you can see that both of our domains, the subdomain and the domain that we created, are indeed ready to go and ready to use. Now, what we can do now is we can go ahead and attach these to a funnel that we've built in System.io. Now, I'm just going to show you briefly because that's a whole process too. There's also things you're going to have to do to your email account. So if I go into emails, if I had created an email for kimmatthew@media.com, I would have to set up something called DKIM records and DMARC records. That is another process, but you will also have to do that too if you have a professional email. And now with the new Yahoo and Gmail rules, you do have to have a professional email. So the process that we went through for the domain, to connect the domain to System.io so we can connect it to a funnel, you're also going to have to do that for your email settings if you are sending emails through System.io, or if you're sending them through Aweber or any other autoresponder, you're going to have to set those DKIM records and the DMARC. So that's going to be another CNAME record and a TXT record, but that's a whole other process, and that's for another video. But I just wanted to show you now how to connect those new domains that we just created to a funnel. So what I'm going to do is go to my funnels. Now let's see if I've got one that's not being used. I think most of these may have a funnel attached to them. Oh, this one doesn't. Okay, so this one does not have a funnel attached to, or I'm sorry, a domain attached to it, this particular funnel. This is not live, but once I attach that domain to this funnel, it will be. So I'm just going to show you that process. So again, I'm going to go to funnel settings, and now what I'm going to do is to go here to the drop down, and you can see that I've got my list, and here's my go.kimmatthew@media.com, and I could connect that one, or I could connect the www.kimmatthew.com, kimmatthew@media.com. Either one will work, and so I'm just going to go ahead and connect that one, and I'm going to click save, and now we have a live funnel on the internet. So if I went to view funnel, you can see that, and this is just something that I'm still building right now, so you can see it isn't done yet. But now you can see up here in the URL locator that it is, or the URL bar, that I do have go.kimmatthew@media.com, and this is a live funnel. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, please don't forget to comment below this video. And if you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe and like this video. But that's how you connect your subdomain or a domain in GoDaddy to System.io. So have a great day, everybody. Bye now.